The stage is all set in Jammu and Kashmir as assembly elections kickstart today, marking the first such polls in the Union territory since the abrogation of Article 370 in August 2019. This first phase will involve 24 assembly seats, with voting taking place in constituencies across both the Jammu region and the Kashmir Valley, including areas like Pulwama, Doda, Tral, among others. Over 23 lakh voters are set to cast their ballots and seal the fate of around 219 candidates. It's a high-stakes battle in the valley, and the Republic's army of reporters are on the ground right now, viewers, bringing you all the live action. We are seeing 219 candidates in fray. Around 24 assembly seats are going to polls, the first phase of the three-phase Jammu and Kashmir elections. That is right, viewers. Now, we can also tell you, viewers, that this is coming in the backdrop of recent terror incidents in the region. And Jammu and Kashmir is seeing its first assembly election since 2014. Its first since the removal of Article 370, which gave special status. Now, this is the first time Jammu and Kashmir will also see this election as a UT, a Union territory. Remember, when Article 370 was abrogated, the state was divided into Union territories of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. So we see major players putting in their ring in the hat, viewers. We see alliance between the Congress and the NC. We also see the BJP playing there. Now, I just want to go across to all the reports which are coming in as we get you live action.
The stage is set for the first phase of polling in Jammu and Kashmir. 24 assembly constituencies will go for voting today. Over 23 lakh voters will decide the fate of 219 candidates. Some key constituencies going for polls today are Anantnag, Pulwama, Kishtwar, Doda, Ramban and Banihal. Congress's Ghulam Ahmad Mir, National Conference's Sakina Ittu and PDP Sartaj Madani are among the prominent candidates trying their luck in first phase. But all eyes will be on Bij Bihara and Pulwama assembly segments, where PDP's Iltija Mufti and Wahid Parra are contesting. Bij Bihara has been a Mufti bastion traditionally. PDP chief Mufti Muhammad Saeed held this seat till the time he died. After Mufti Saeed, his daughter Mehbooba contested and won from Bij Bihara. Iltija has become the third generation politician from her family to contest from this seat. For the first time in over 3 decades, Kashmir witnessed fearless campaigning with a massive public participation. It must be noted that these are Jammu and Kashmir's first election in 10 years. These elections are crucial too, as they are happening first time since abrogation of Article 370. With maximum public participation, especially from Valley, the elections are predicted to bring new hope and change in Jammu and Kashmir.
All right, viewers, let's go ahead across to our reporters who are joining us right now. We have Zeenat, Gursimran and Arawat. I want to go first across to my colleague Zeenat, joining us live from Pulwama. Zeenat, voting has just begun a short while back. Voting kicks off in the first phase of elections. Take us through what is happening where you are.
See, Shivani, this is the when we can say in this election, this time for people's verdict, and that is what the elections of 2024 symbolize for the people of Jammu and Kashmir. From Pulwama, this is Naira, from where my VJ Mubashir is showing the visuals that it's 7 in the morning and the people have started making their way towards the polling station. From youngsters to old age voters to the first time voters, you are seeing everybody here because it's again the time of harvesting. Harvesting in the form of agriculture and horticulture, and also a time when the political parties in the last 10 years, whether they were ruling directly or they were targeting the government, people have these political parties, whatever the narrations they have been making, people is going to harvest them and going to return the favors to them on the 8th of October when the results will be declared. We have been seeing the narrations or the promises that the political parties have been making, be it the Bharatiya Janata Party, who is making a tall claims post 2014 in Jammu and Kashmir that they are here for the development for Naya Kashmir, and they have changed the situation drastically, and post abrogation of Article 370 things have really turned in favor of Kashmiris with the improvement in their livelihood, getting the number of tourists huge. But if we see the opposite part of it, the political parties like National Conference or the PDP, the traditional ones, and the alliance partner with the National Conference is Congress, who has been saying that if you vote for BJP, you are voting in favor of the decision that was taken on 5th of August 2019. Then you see the elements that have been coming in and who have been hitting hard to these political parties, that is Engineer Rashid's party, or the first party that was formed post abrogation of Article 370, that was APRI party led by Saeed Altaf Bukhari. So these parties, the leaders have been hitting leaders like Umar Abdullah, Farooq Abdullah, Mehbooba Mufti, saying that they are the one who have taken Kashmir to the dark ages. They have ruled as a dynasty. We have been seeing the one generation going and then the another generation taking over, and people want freedom from the dynasty rule. But again, it's a big question whether people will opt for the traditional, the local political parties, or will give chance to the new alternatives, or will work for or vote in favor of Naya Kashmir, vote for BJP, because we are seeing that the BJP is trying very hard to get at least inroads in the Kashmir Valley, from where they could not even open an account despite the elections that were held in 2014, where BJP formed an alliance with PDP to form a government, as they got a huge mandate from the Jammu side. Will BJP be able to repeat the same 2014 tally from Jammu, or they will reduce, or they will get less in number, or will they maybe able to make inroads in the Kashmir Valley, that not only the political parties are watching, but every voter or every poll pundit must be watching, because we have been seeing the Prime Minister in the last 10 years giving every time the report card about Naya Kashmir, how the Kashmir has changed, and how these dynasty politics have played a dent in Jammu and Kashmir by snatching the livelihood and siphoning money for the traditional leaders. This all will be seeing, it will turn into a reality when the Pandara box will open on 8th of October, and how the things will pan for the political parties who have been making day and night campaigning, targeting, hitting each other from right, left and center. All this will be answered on 8th of October when the results will be out. As of now, we see that since it's a harvesting time, as I said, that everybody, the voters, mostly one can see that they are having the voter slips in their hand, and the bigger takeaway from the elections will be whether the Jammu and Kashmir people have accepted what had happened on 5th of August 2019, or they go with the Naya Kashmir slogan. They want development, they want the infrastructure boot, they want the government schemes to come in, or they are giving votes against the verdict that had changed the complete geography and has created a complete change in scenario as far as the areas of Jammu and Kashmir, because during this period also the delimitation commission was performed by the central government that has really fragmented the constituencies. Needs to be seen how this will work and how the people will favor. Meanwhile, we are also seeing that there are some candidates who are first time being in the election fray. Like as far as the Lok Sabha polls is concerned, we have seen Wahidur Rahman Para, who lost his fight against National Conference Aga Saeed Ruhullah, and this time the third generation politician, that is Miss Mufti's, Mehbooba Mufti's daughter Iltija, making a beginning from the Bijbehara in Anantnag, which is traditionally called the PDP's bastion, where from this time the Miss Mufti is not contesting. She has taken a back seat, but she has put her daughter into fray. Will luck be inside, or will luck favors this time Iltija Mufti, or she too has to taste a defeat like her mother tasted during the Lok Sabha polls? Do PDP have still a ground? That time will tell, because right now where from I am reporting, this is again a bastion of PDP. Young leader Wahidur Rahman Para, who has been known for his close association with Mufti Muhammad Said, late Mufti Muhammad Said, and then Mehbooba Mufti. Wahid's campaigns during the night has really changed the situation in Pulwama, because Pulwama, which used to be considered earlier a hotbed of terrorism, but now we have seen Wahid got lot of local and the youth, the youngsters support during those election rallies, during the campaigning. Will those people turn into voters in favor of Wahid? The time will only time, because this time he is in direct fight with National Conference Khalil Band.
Right. Well, Zeenat, thank you for getting us those details. Zeenat is in Pulwama. Huge line of voters there in Pulwama. I can see that. I'm going to go to Kishtwar, where Gursimran is reporting for us live. Chenab Valley, 3 districts, Doda, Kishtwar and Ramban, going to polls today. Very good morning to you, Gursimran. We know that the NC, the PDP are major players in the valley. If you could take our viewers through what is happening where you are, what is the mood like on ground?
Good morning, Shivangi. And the Festival of Democracy has begun. After a span of 10 years, the people of Jammu and Kashmir are for the first time voting for the assembly elections with the overall change dynamics. If we speak of what has happened during the polls of 2014 assembly elections and 2024, there is altogether a change dynamic. The abrogation of Article 370 has taken place, and now the people are coming up in large numbers. The people are coming up to cast their votes. We are at the Kishtwar polling station. This is a women-only polling station where the women have lined up early morning. There have been several votes that they have casted. We'll try to speak to them first. Madam, किन issues को लेकर वोट कर रहे हैं आप?
हम बीजेपी को देने
Issues क्या रहेंगे?
कुछ नहीं।
मैडम, उसके साथ क्या मेन इश्यूज हैं जिनको लेके वोट करेंगे आप?
बस हमारे जो डेवलपमेंट है वो अच्छी हो हमारे किश्तवाड़ में, और अच्छा ही हो सारा कुछ, उसको हम
अच्छा हो। मैडम, आप किन इश्यूज को लेकर वोट करेंगे?
हम भी जो अच्छा करेंगे और उसको वोट देना हमने।
उसको वोट करेंगे। कुछ फर्स्ट टाइम वोटर्स भी हमारे साथ हैं। आप बताइए, फर्स्ट टाइम वोटर्स किन चीज़ों को देख के वोट करें?
जो यहाँ पे टेररिज्म है उसको कंट्रोल में आए, वो उसको मतलब जड़ से हम खत्म कर ले, तो उसके लिए हम
This is very important. The terrorism should end, because this seat has seen not only the terror incidents, but the candidate, the BJP candidate that is from here, Shagun Parihar. She is a daughter of Ajit Parihar, the BJP leader who was gunned down by the terrorist in 2018. And this time the BJP has given her ticket. On her opposition is Sajjad Kichlu, the former Minister of State. If we speak of the security arrangements, adequate security arrangements have been put in place. In the 3 districts of the Doda, Kishtwar and Ramban, there are 8 assembly constituencies after delimitation. Post delimitation, there were 6 assembly constituencies, and BJP won 4 out of the 6 in 2014. This time there are 8 constituencies which BJP is eyeing to cross the 50% mark. Now if we speak of the overall voters, the overall voters are roughly 7 lakh voters. We'll try to speak to some more voters, those who are coming. Madam, वोट डालने आ रहे हैं, किन इश्यूज पर वोट किया जाएगा? मतलब मेन इश्यूज क्या रहेंगे?
मेन बस यही जो भी है इधर जीत जाए, जो अच्छी मतलब वो है,
काम करेंगे।
काम करेंगे।
मैडम, आपसे भी जानना चाहूँगा, क्या इश्यूज मेन है जिनको लेकर वोट करें?
बस यही जो हमारे करे अपने इसके लिए, जगह के लिए, जो अच्छा कैंडिडेट।
So keenly the development continues to be main focus, and also the security. The terrorism continues to be concern for the young voters. The other ones, they say that the development, those who will do development, they will be voted for. If we speak of these 8 seats, the 3 seats in the Doda district, 3 seats in the Kishtwar district, and 2 seats in the Ramban district. Here the BJP is contesting on their own on all 8 seats, while when it comes to the National Conference and the Congress Party, they are in alliance. In the 3 seats of the Kishtwar, the NC Congress alliance is that NC has got 2 seats, while the Congress has got 1 seat. In Banihal, they are in the friendly contest, while in Ramban, the ticket has been given to the Congress Party. So this is the dynamics, overall dynamics, and the BJP in the Kishtwar has 2 key candidates. First is the Shagun Parihar, the daughter of Ajit Parihar, who was gunned down by the terrorists in 2018, and she has been one of only women face the BJP has fielded in these elections, and the Prime Minister Narendra Modi during his poll campaign also made it clear that the BJP stands with the victim of terrorism. Second big name is of the Sunil Sharma, a close confidant of Union Home Minister Amit Shah and the BJP General Secretary. He is also contesting from the Padanaksari seat. If we speak of this specific seat, this is the Kishtwar seat that has roughly 75,000 voters. In the district, the entire district, there are 1.79 lakh voters. In the Doda district, there are 3.1 lakh voters, and in the Raman, the total number of voters is 2.24 lakh. So now these roughly 7 lakh voters will be deciding the fate of these candidates for the 8 assembly constituencies. The BJP is keenly focusing on these because BJP has gone with the motto that they will cross 35 seats mark from the Jammu region, and for that they have to ensure that each and every seat that they go and contest in the Jammu region, they have to go full throttle, and that is why we have seen Union Home Minister Amit Shah on the last day of the campaign holding back-to-back 3 rallies. This seat of the Kishtwar is very important for the National Conference as well, because last time their Minister of State of the Home, Sajjad Kichlu, lost this election to the BJP's Sunil Sharma. So the NC has already lost their bastion in 2014, and they want to reclaim it. The new seat that has been come out of the delimitation is the Padanaksari. This is the second smallest seat if we go by the number of voters. It is only 40,000 voters that will be deciding the fate of the candidates. The key contest that continues to be between Sunil Sharma and also between the Pooja Thakur of National Conference. Third seat of Inderwal, that is in the Kishtwar district, is the most interesting one because it is a multi-corner contest. The contest is between the Congress Zafrullah backed by the National Conference, the PDP's Sheikh Nasir, while the 2 independent candidates. First is the Pyare Lal, who got the ticket earlier, the mandate from the National Conference, then denied at the last minute. He went rebel. The second name is of the GM Saruri, who has been MLA here for 3 times on the Congress ticket, and now he is contesting again, but as independent, because he was the one who went with Ghulam Nabi Azad, stayed with him, but at the last moment decided that he will not be contesting on the symbol of Ghulam Nabi Azad, but as an independent candidate. So there is a multi-corner contest there also, but one thing that the BJP is actually having an edge on from that Inderwal seat, that the BJP is of view that the split of the votes will help their candidate Tariq Keen, who managed to secure 17,000 votes in the last election. If he manages the same number of votes, then he will be in a position that the BJP will be securing the seat. So out of 3 seats, BJP wants to go for a hat-trick, but will it be possible, or the NC Congress alliance will dent the BJP's aspiration? That has to be seen. But in the Jammu region, 8 seats that are going to the polls are really very crucial for the BJP. And when it comes to the Ramban district, the Banihal, the Congress former president, it is the JNK president and the CWC member, Viqar Sulwani, is in contest here. The NC has not given a cakewalk to the Congress party, and there is a tough fight, friendly contest. They have said it is Sajjad Shaheen, the district president of the Ramban from the National Conference, and the Congress Viqar Sulwani, who is in fray. But one thing is very clear, that the festival of democracy has begun, and the people in the large numbers have queued up to cast their votes.
Yes, the festival of democracy has begun there, viewers, after 10 years. Major elections being held, first since abrogation of Article 370. Let's go across to my other colleague who's joining us, Arawat from Pampore, coming across to you. And before I come to you, PM Modi has just put a post up on X. He has said, I call upon young and first-time voters to exercise their franchise. PM Modi urging the electorate to come out in large numbers and vote in the first phase. We can already see huge lines. Arawat, coming across to you, he's in Pampore right now. Go ahead, Arawat. What is happening where you are, and who are the key candidates?
Yeah, Shwangi, exactly. We are here in the South Kashmir's Pampora, and polling has just begun. My Vijay is showing you the visuals from the Pampore polling station, where you can see here in the visuals how these long queues of the voters have started. Also, we have seen that the female voters are taking place, and people are coming out from their homes to cast their vote for the better and genuine candidate. In fact, if we'll talk about this seat, National Conference's former Member Parliament Hasnain Masoodi is contesting election from this seat, and you can see here in the visuals, these the oldest citizens and other people are coming out from their homes to cast their vote, and you can see all the security arrangements have been done, and we have seen everything is being monitored by the CCTV surveillance. In fact, we'll try to speak with some young voters also here who are here. आप मुझे बताइए किन चीजों को लेके आप वोट दे रहे हैं? क्या आपका ये पहला वोट है या इससे पहले दिया है?
नहीं, पहला वोट है फॉर बेटर डेवलपमेंट, फॉर बेटर चेंज, इसीलिए हम आज यहाँ पे वोट देने।
किस तरह की चेंज आप चाहते हैं?
बहुत एजुकेशनली मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंटली, और खासकर जो रिजर्वेशन ये है उसमें थोड़ा चेंज के लिए, जो जिससे ओपन मेरिट बहुत डिक्लाइन हुआ उसके लिए थोड़ा हम चेंज के लिए यहाँ आए आज, फॉर ये ताकि हम चेंज कर पाए सिस्टम को थोड़ा, इसीलिए आज वोट डालने आए।
फर्स्ट टाइम आप वोट कास्ट कर रहे हैं तो कैसा आपको फील हो रहा है? कब से आप चाहते थे कि आप वोट करें, कास्ट करें?
आई एम ऑब्वियसली एक्साइटेड, आज पहली बार है वोट, तो ये बहुत टाइम से था कि कब आए हम भी पार्ट ले ऐसे डेमोक्रेटिक प्रोसेस में, तो एक्साइटेड पहले से थे।
लंबे लंबे क्यूज जो है सुबह सुबह हम देख रहे हैं, इतनी ब्यूटीफुल तस्वीर साउथ कश्मीर से, कैसे आप इन चीज़ों को देखते हैं?
ऑब्वियसली इट इज़ गुड टू सी ये जो है लोग ये अच्छे से मतलब एक्टिवेटली पार्टिसिपेट कर रहे हैं, तो दैट्स अ गुड थिंग। हम भी इसको एज मतलब पॉजिटिवली देखते हैं, एंड वी होप कि बाकी लोग भी आए एंड दे एक्टिवली पार्टिसिपेट इन द इलेक्शन प्रोसेस।
आप मुझे बताइए किन चीज़ों को लेके आप जो हैं यहाँ पे जो आप वोट को कास्ट कर रहे हैं, क्या मुद्दे रहेंगे आपके?
डेवलपमेंट हो गया और क्या, बस बाकी क्या हो गया।
किस तरह से आप देखते हैं इन चीज़ों को? यंग जो है फर्स्ट टाइम जो वोट कास्ट कर रहे हैं, यंग वोटर्स काफ़ी पार्टिसिपेशन से, उनकी कैसे इस चीज़ को?
बहुत जज्बा है, ये कुछ बदलाव चाहते हैं यहाँ, और क्या, बस बाकी कुछ नहीं है।
किस चीज़ का बदलाव आप चाहते हैं? क्या यहाँ के लोग चाहते हैं? क्या जो बदलाव?
इन रेस्पेक्ट ऑफ डेवलपमेंट, बाकी क्या।
And you can see here in the visuals from this side, if my Vijay can show you all the security arrangements that have been made in place, and you can see the long queues of the voters are here. In fact, we will try to speak with the other young voters also. आप मुझे बताइए किन चीज़ों को लेके आप वोट देना चाहते हैं?
एक्चुअली हम नेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस को वोट देना चाहता हूँ कि ये हमारा यहाँ पे पड़ोसी है जय साहब, तो जब कुछ प्रॉब्लम होगा तो हम बिना डरे इनके अंदर जा सकता है।
यंग वोटर्स जो हम देख रहे हैं, काफ़ी उनका जो है पार्टिसिपेशन देख रहे हैं, जो पहली बार वोट कास्ट कर रहे हैं, कैसे देखते हैं?
क्योंकि ये हमारा पड़ोसी है ना, जब भी हम इसके पास चला गया था कुछ न कुछ कर सकता है ये हमारे लिए, इसलिए।
And you can see here in the visuals how Vijay is showing you the visuals from the Pampora, where the election has just started and the first voting has started, and you can see the old citizens, young voters, in fact female voters are coming out from their homes to cast their vote for the betterment of the Jammu and Kashmir. As we have seen, this is the first election after the abrogation of Article 370 in the Jammu and Kashmir, and you can see here in the visuals how the voters are continuously coming from their homes. In fact, if my Vijay can pan camera to this side, and you can see here in the visuals how these voters are coming to cast their vote for the development and the betterment of the Naya Kashmir. Yeah, back to studios.
Viewers, we're live this morning. I'm Shivangi Shukla getting you the latest coming in. Big story! Jammu and Kashmir goes to polls. The people of Jammu and Kashmir are casting their ballots in the first phase of assembly elections. The BJP is set to release its manifesto in Haryana later. Remember, after the 2019 elections, the BJP with 40 seats in the 90-member assembly formed a coalition government with the JJP. Now, this we are talking about. We shift the focus back to what's happening in Jammu and Kashmir, viewers. We have our reporters on the ground because a short while back, we told you that the polling has kick-started in Jammu and Kashmir. We have our reporters on the ground. Let's see where our reporters are. We have Zeenat. We have Zeenat in Pulwama. We have Gursimran in Kishtwar, Chenab Valley. And we have Aramat in Pampora. I want to start across once again with my colleague Zeenat, who's joining us live from Pulwama. Zeenat, you know, when you showed us those visuals in the morning, we saw huge lines of voters. They're waiting there for their turn to vote. And we also know that there has been a special provision when it comes to security measures We know the security measures are extremely tight. They are in place. If you could take our viewers through what is happening on the ground, as half an hour has already went by since opening of the polls.
See, as the voting has begun at 7 in the morning, and we are seeing the voters making beeline outside the polling stations to cast their vote. As I said, that when it comes to this polling station, it is a direct contest between PDP leader Wahidur Rahman Para against NC leader Khalil Band, who has remained almost 3-time MLA here. Will Wahid be giving a fight to the National Conference? Will Wahid make this time? Because you see, the last time in 2024, this year's Lok Sabha elections, Wahid could not make it to the parliament. So will the voters be helping Wahid to make at least this time to the assembly? That needs to be seen. As far as the J&K is concerned, we are seeing in the last 10 years, definitely the entire Jammu and Kashmir has changed, because center has got many changes for J&K on ground. Will people accept those changes? Because this election is more about the changes than any other thing. That is what we have been seeing when the political leaders or the parties have been doing rallies or talking to the people, going to people. Door-to-door campaigning was launched by mostly all the leaders to express themselves to what they want to bring to people of Jammu and Kashmir. Will they? Because if you see the National Conference manifesto, the bigger and the main agenda for the National Conference remain that they will restore Article 370 that was abrogated by the central government in August 2009. And the same way we see the alliance partner, they are not talking anything about the Article 370 restoration or the 35A, but they have been focusing on the statehood. Though National Conference has also put in its manifesto the greater autonomy, for which the people of J&K believe that it is a hollow promise, because National Conference is the one party that has ruled Jammu and Kashmir for decades together, but they could not set their records on ground. As far as the PDP is concerned, PDP has been talking about releasing the prisoners from the jail or solution to the Kashmir problem within the ambit of Indian Constitution, and reopening the roads and everything that the self-rule agenda of PDP they have been talking about. Will the people vote for the PDP? Because we have seen the PDP has been fragmented into different in different paths, in different divisions, particularly when we see that most of the leaders left People's Democratic Party and the party that fought on multiple seats in 2014 with the faces that were known in the politics for a long time. But this time the PDP chose at many places those candidates who are lesser known, and how far they will be able to give fight to the National Conference or the Congress alliance, that time will only tell. But again, a bigger change in the Jammu and Kashmir politics came just a week before, when Supreme Court granted interim bail to Engineer Rashid, who has been booked with the terror charges. He has been booked under UAPA. Will he change the course or the dynamics of Jammu and Kashmir politics, the kind of rallies he had been doing? And he is only talking about the Kashmir solution. He has been talking about before becoming the member of the parliament. If you see his records, he has been talking about the plebiscite in Jammu and Kashmir. But this time he has not chosen the live of plebiscite, but he is only hitting the BJP. He is talking about the National Conference. PDP has been in direct attack with the Mehbooba Mufti and Omar Abdullah, Farooq Abdullah, and also against the Sajjad Ghani Lone, who will be contesting from the Handwara Kutwara in the third phase.
That is
of
right.
elections.
Zeenat, I'll come back to you in just a moment, because we're getting some more live action from the other polling booths. Let's go straight across to my colleague who's joining us from Kishtwar, Chenab Valley. That is Gursimran. Gursimran, you know, this is something that Zeenat touched upon. A lot of controversies. First, Congress forgetting or omitting Article 370 in their manifesto. Secondly, we saw the entry of the Jamaat-e-Islami, where the PDP's Mehbooba Mufti has backed the Jamaat-e-Islami. If you could take our viewers through how could this really play out as voters vote today. Secondly, if you could take our viewers through who is voting and what do they have to say to our viewers.
See, right now we are in the Kishtwar where the women have lined up in the large numbers. This is women-only polling station in the Kishtwar city, and the young voters are also here. We'll try to speak to some voters what they have to say, what they actually feel, and what are the issues that they are going to vote. We have some young voters with us also. Madam, किन issues को लेकर जो है young voter vote कर?
So I'm sorry, but I won't like to comment on any.
We'll try to speak to some more voters. Madam, आपसे भी जानना चाहूँगा किन issues को लेकर voter जो है vote कर रहे हैं?
इस द आई थिंक इस जम्मू कश्मीर के जो इश्यूज आजकल चल रहे हैं हर एक पूरे इंडिया में जो पता है सबको, तो उसकी वजह से शायद ये वोटिंग लाइंस आई थिंक एज पर्सनल वो चल रहे हैं, जरूरी
चल रहे हैं, लोकल इश्यूज को लेकर चल रहे हैं. सो यू सी द पीपल हैव लाइंड अप हियर इन द लार्ज नंबर्स. दे हैव कम डाउन टू कास्ट देयर वोट्स अर्ली मॉर्निंग. विल ट्राई टू स्पीक टू सम मोर वोटर्स. मैडम, किन इश्यूज को लेकर जो है आप वोट कर रहे हैं? सभी लोग कह रहे हैं रिसेंट इश्यूज, करंट इश्यूज.
हम जो हैं डेवलपमेंट को लेकर हमारे किश्तवाड़ में आज से क्या डेवलपमेंट हुई है, सिक्योरिटी इश्यूज, हर चीज़.
डेवलपमेंट और सिक्योरिटी को लेकर वोट कर रहे हैं. मैडम, आप भी वोट करने जा रहे हैं, क्या इश्यूज?
क्या है
जी. So you see that some people are speaking, some are not, but the majority is saying that the development, security, and also the current issues, they remains to be the key issues. If we speak of the Kishtwar, this very seat, this has been the bastion of the National Conference in 2014. In 2014, the BJP won from this very seat. Sunil Sharma, the BJP General Secretary and a close confidant of Union Home Minister Amit Shah, he won from this seat. Now, after delimitation, there are 3 seats in the Kishtwar, and the BJP from this seat has fielded Shagun Parihar, the daughter of BJP leader Ajit Parihar, who was killed by the terrorists in a terror attack in November 2018. And this time the BJP has gone with the name of Shagun Parihar, a new entrant in the party. But yes, she has managed to get the people to her side. That is what the BJP also feels on ground. On the other hand is the MOS, the former Minister of State Home, Sajjad Kichlu, a big gun of the National Conference who lost in 2014. But once again, the National Conference has fielded him from the Kishtwar constituency. The other constituency in the Kishtwar district is the Padar Nagseni constituency, where Sunil Sharma of the Bharatiya Janata Party, the BJP General Secretary, is in ground against the Pooja Thakur of the National Conference. There, the NC has played the come out with a women candidate. Here in the Kishtwar, the BJP has come out with the women candidate. In the Inderwal constituency, the BJP is witnessing a multi-corner contest because BJP is in ground. National Conference is backing the Congress candidate. PDP's Sheikh Nasir is in ground. 2 independents hold the key to success. That is the Ghulam Mohammad Saruri, who was earlier with the Congress party, a 3-time MLA from the Congress. But this time he went with the Ghulam Nabi Azad and is now contesting as an independent candidate. And also the Pyare Lal, who was with the National Conference, even promised the ticket by the Abdullahs, but then denied as the seat share agreement could not be reached upon. So he is also the key player. So there also the BJP is eyeing that the vote split will take place with the independents, and the BJP will have an edge because in 2014 Tariq Keen got somewhere close to 17,000 votes, and BJP feels that if he managed to secure that vote, he will be in a position that the BJP will be able to do a hat-trick from this seat. But the NC Congress alliance, they are also making the claims that they are too strong. If we speak of the Ramban district, where there is 2.24 lakh voters in the 2 seats of the Ramban and the Banihal, in the Ramban there is a direct contest between the Congress party and the National and the Bharatiya Janata Party. Though there has been a defection in the BJP, and the BJP is a vice president from the Ramban district, he is contesting, Suraj Parihar is contesting as an independent candidate, and now he is giving a tough time to the BJP's Rakesh Thakur. While in the Banihal seat, it is a friendly contest which the NC and the Congress calls is between the Sajjad Shaheen, the National Conference district president of the Ramban, and the Congress JNK former president Viqar Rasoolwani, who has been a 2 times MLA from that very constituency. He is also in fray. If we speak of the Doda, in the Doda seat, it is the only seat where the Ghulam Nabi Azad's DPAP has the presence in the Doda seat, where the Abdul Majid Wani is in ground, while Aam Aadmi Party is also a player in this seat, because couple of days earlier we saw Sanjay Singh holding a massive rally in support of Mehraj, the candidate of the Aam Aadmi Party in that very seat. So that is a very tricky seat where the Aam Aadmi Party is also eyeing to even get the seat. While in the other seats of the Bhadarwa, it is a direct contest between the Congress candidate backed by the National Conference, Nadeem Sharif, who is the nephew of Ghulam Nabi Azad but is in Congress party. It's versus the Dalip Parihar of the BJP, who has been the former MLA in 2014 as well. So this is the dynamics that the 8 seats of the Jammu region hold, and the BJP is eyeing to get hold of the majority of these seats. Shivangi.
Right, Gursimran, thank you for getting us those details from the ground. I want to go across to my other colleague who's joining us, Aravat from Pampore, joining us live. Aravat, you've spoken to some of the voters there. Also, we know 35,000 Kashmiri Pandits are eligible to vote in the first phase of elections, especially in South Kashmir's area of Anantnag, Pulwama, Shopian, Kulgaon districts. There's special polling booths for them there. Take us through what is happening where you are, what is the mood looking like, and what are the voters saying?
Yeah, exactly. We're here in the South Kashmir's Pampura, and you can see here in the visuals that we have seen that the former member parliament of the National Conference, Hassan Masudi, is here, and he has just casted their vote, in fact, and we will try to speak with him also as well. And you can see here in these visuals, the voters are coming out from their homes to cast their votes, and also if we will try to speak with him. आप मुझे बताइए क्या आपने वोट कास्ट किया, क्या कहेंगे?
Yes, of course, I did cast a vote.
तो किस तरह से आप इस चेंज को देख रहे हैं? हम देख रहे हैं किस तरह से, इससे पहले कश्मीर में अगर हम बात करें, यहाँ इलेक्शन बाइकआउट का जो है ट्रेंड हुआ करता था, लेकिन अब हम देख रहे हैं लंबी लंबी कतारें हैं लोगों की.
I mean, this is after 7 years that people have been given an opportunity to cast their vote and to, elect their representative. So this vote has, it is a more than one objects. First is to, on 5th August 2019, we were denuded of our rights. The state was downgraded to a union territory, and our constitution was, made ineffective. That cannot be, constitution cannot be abrogated. And this is kind of people use this as an opportunity to give a message to the powers the forces that denude us of our rights, to tell them that we don't approve that. We are not with that. That is first part. Second is that we were entrusted to, we were given handover to a bureaucracy for 9 years. So this is a vote, for restoration of that democracy, the institutions. Then development as well as peace, release of prisoners. There's multiple objectives. But the fundamental is that this is kind of a message that we don't approve of, and we don't agree with whatever you have done on 5th August 2019. So this is a kind of a message to the forces and a request for introspection, a call for introspection, to know that nothing has changed on ground. We have the violence is there, we have encounters day in and day out. So, and they have to understand that there can be no trade-offs between peace and development. You cannot say that we give development, but we take away your rights, political aspirations. So this has a multiple, the purpose is more than one purpose. As I said, that it is a message that we don't approve of whatever you have done on 5th August 2019. So, you have downgraded our state, you just restore our state, restore the rights that were promised way back when we joined the federation, federal system. So then development as well as, peace and political aspirations, respect for political aspirations, and the autonomy that was promised to us. Don't make inoperative our constitution, the constitution of the state. Then voters are that they cast. These are the purposes that the voters want to accomplish.
Thank you very much for speaking to the Republic, and we will get you all the details. Keep watching the Republic TV.
Viewers, we're live this morning. Now we go to West Bengal, where Mamata Banerjee removed Vineet Goyal as the Kolkata Police Commissioner. Manoj Verma took charge as the new Police Commissioner on Monday. Take a look at this report to understand what's been happening in West Bengal.
The probe in the Arjikar rape and horror case continues to simmer. A Kolkata court on Tuesday extended the CBI custody of former Arjikar principal Sandeep Ghosh and Tala Police SHO Abhijit Mondal for 3 days. The custody was extended based on CBI's claim that both accused were not cooperating in the probe. Meanwhile, in a big development, Manoj Kumar Verma took charges as Kolkata's new police commissioner on Tuesday. Abaya's parents, on the other hand, continue to raise their voice against Sandeep Ghosh's involvement in the case.
না না এটা জয়ের কি আছে এটা জয়ের বিচার পাবে ধরা যাবে এবং বিচার পাবে
বিচার হবে সেদিনই জয় হবে। ওনারা যদি 2021 সালে যখন সন্দীপ ঘোষের বিরুদ্ধে তো অনেক অভিযোগ ছিল, তখন যদি মুখ্যমন্ত্রী এই পদক্ষেপটা নিতেন, আজকে আমার কলকাতা হতো না, আমার মেয়েটা হারিয়ে যেত না।
They're also raising questions on tampering of evidence and hospital's bid to cover up the entire incident that unfolded on August 9.
এই ব্যাপারে আমি একটাই কথা বলবো, যারা যারা এই আমার মেয়ের হত্যার সম্বন্ধে জড়িত আছে তারা উপযুক্ত পরোক্ষভাবে যারা জড়িত আছে তারা শাস্তি পায়।
যারা প্রমাণ লোপাটের জন্য যারা জড়িত সবাই যেন তদন্তের আওতায় আসে এবং সবাইকে যেন শাস্তি পায়।
সে তো দেখতেই পাচ্ছেন আপনারা কারা, আস্তে আস্তে বেরোবে ক্রমশ প্রকাশ। এগুলো তাড়াতাড়ি জানার চেষ্টা করলে সেটা এখন এটা কি করে জানবো, এটা সিবিআই তদন্ত করে দেখছে, অবশ্যই তার সঠিক রাস্তা দেখছে।
Mamta's minister, on the other hand, has hailed Chief Minister's move for removing the Kolkata Police Commissioner Vineet Goyal and slammed BJP for politicizing the entire Arjikar case.
कौन मुख्यमंत्री जाता है आंदोलन में हिंदुस्तान में, बताइए कौन सीएम है? कोई जाता है? पुलिस से पिटवाता है। सुप्रीम कोर्ट के बड़े बेंच, सबसे बड़ा बेंच तो नहीं है, 3 जजों का बेंच है, डिवीजन बेंच, जिसमें चीफ जस्टिस है। वो हाथ जोड़ रहे हैं कि बाबा काम में जाओ, लोगों को नुकसान मत पहुंचाओ। सीएम ममता बनर्जी हैं, रहेंगे।
With Sandeep Ghosh behind bars and Kolkata getting new police commissioner, the bigger question remains, how long till the victim gets justice?
And viewers, while the people of Jammu and Kashmir cast their ballot, one more election is coming up, that is the Haryana election. The BJP is set to release its manifesto in Haryana today. After the 2019 elections, the BJP, with 40 seats in the 19-member assembly, formed a coalition government with the JJP. The JJP had won 10 seats, while the Congress had won 31 seats. The BJP-JJP alliance broke earlier this year. In 2024, Haryana is likely to see a four-way contest between the BJP, Congress and JJP and the Aam Aadmi Party. Union Minister JP Nadda will lead the charge today and unveil the party's blueprint for the state. I want to go across to my colleague Lalit joining us live. BJP to unveil their manifesto today. PM Modi will be addressing many rallies as well. If you could take our viewers through what we can expect today. Haryana polls are around the corner and they'll be very, very important.
Definitely, if we talk about the Haryana polls, it's very important for the BJP, as for the third time that BJP wants to come in the governance. But if we overall talk about this time, it's a four-cornered contest in Haryana, and there's a direct contest between the Congress and the BJP. But before we can talk about the contest, today it's an important day, as today the BJP National President Jagat Prakash Nadda would unveil the Sankalp Patra in the Rohtak, which is known as the political capital of Haryana. So, along with JP Nadda, the manifesto head, Mr. Om Prakash Dhankad, who has been the former state president of Haryana, he would also be assisting. CM of Haryana, Naib Singh Saini, and the BJP state president, Mr. Badoli, would also be present while they would unveil this Sankalp Patra. So, it would be very important to see that what would be there in the manifesto, as they are having a lot of tensions with the farmers in the recent 10 years. So they could do something for the farmers. Employment is a very important issue in Haryana. So what could be there for the employment, how to deal with the employment, and for the women, what could be there for the women in Haryana. So these are the three important points in which definitely the BJP manifesto will try to focus, so that they could try to cater the votes of the people, as people in Haryana are quite angry with the farmers issue, as farmers have been protesting against the BJP. So it would be very important to see what could be there in the manifesto. Other than that, if we talk about today, Congress would also unveil its guarantee card in Delhi, where the Congress National President Mr. Kharge would unveil the Sankalp Patra, the guarantee card. Sorry. So it would be done at 2 p.m. in Delhi headquarters in Delhi. So it would be very important, a very politically uplift day in Haryana, as both the parties would be unveiling their Sankalp Patra and the guarantee card. Back to the studio.
All right, Lalit, thank you for joining us there. So like Lalit told us, the BJP will unveil its poll manifesto for Haryana, and the next 2 weeks, PM Modi will be holding multiple rallies to ensure victory in the state of Haryana. Thank you, Lalit. I'll be coming back to you as we get more updates on Haryana polls. And now we go to Manipur. A day after Manipur CM confirmed a foreign hand involvement in the Manipur violence, Manipur Education Minister has also come forward and stated that there was external involvement in the students' agitation. Here's more on the report.
Just a day after Manipur Chief Minister, in an exclusive conversation with Republic, confirmed that there was an involvement of foreign forces in the violence.
So it clearly shows that I, from the very beginning, claiming that the crisis in Manipur is not a mere law and order. It is with the hand of the outsider. So it has proof. I appreciate the Assam Rifles. Definitely this case will be handed over to the NIA, and I have already requested to the ministry, and they will definitely take up.
Manipur Education Minister has also confirmed that there was indeed a foreign influence in the student agitation.
No, this is very unfortunate that some people, I should say, not even organization, because all Manipur students, that was it, all Manipur students. There's no union, there's no organization. So who are these all Manipur students is a subject of investigation at the moment by the security agencies and concerned authorities. Now our appeal to the student community is that such a meeting or a rally being planned by such people, I would say, is illegal because no permission has been taken from the concerned authorities.
He stated that the authorities have identified the non-student protesters.
So we would sincerely advise such people. We have, identified such people. We are taking action, and this time there will be no leniency. When you come and break the law, we will take action accordingly and book those people as per the law and take action. But please, our appeal is do not instigate our students to indulge in violent behavior.
This comes after the arrest of the Kuki insurgent. The individual identified as Thang Kap hails from Khampat, Myanmar. As per intelligence sources, Thang Kap was conducting a recce of the jungle route. The intel says that it was allegedly in preparation for supplying arms.
Ladies and gentlemen, the stage is set in Jammu and Kashmir as the assembly elections kick-starts today, marking the first such polls in the Union Territory since the abrogation of Article 370 in August 2019. This first phase will involve 24 assembly seats, with voting taking place in constituencies across both the Jammu region and the Kashmir Valley, including areas like Pampur, Tral, Pulwama and Dora. Over 23 lakh voters are set to cast their ballots and seal the fate of 219 candidates. It's a high-stakes battle in the valley, and Republic's army of reporters is on the ground zero, bringing you live action. Viewers, we are bringing you live action from Jammu and Kashmir, where our army of reporters Zeenat, Gursimran and Arawat are bringing you live action from the elections. This is the first phase after the abrogation of Article 370. Gursimran, viewers, we have Gursimran first. So Gursimran, could you tell us, now that the elections have begun, people have started streaming in, casting their ballots, what is the atmosphere like where you are at?
See, it's been 60 minutes that the Festival of Democracy has begun in Jammu and Kashmir. 10 years after the last assembly polls, the people are turning out to vote for their candidate. This time, the dynamics is altogether different. The abrogation of Article 370 and 35 fell far. The state is now a union territory, and the people have lined up here in the large numbers. We are in the Kishtwar, where you will see that the people have come out here in the large numbers. We'll try to speak to some people to get a sense of actually what the issues they are going to vote for. Sir, आपसे जानना चाहूँगा किन issues को लेकर वोट कर रहे हैं, पार्टी नहीं, इश्यूज क्या है?
मेन चीज़ें जो यहाँ पर आज वोट कास्ट हो रहा है वो इसी बेस पे कि किश्तवाड़ में जो है डेवलपमेंटल काम बहुत सारे जो है रिक्वायर्ड हैं। स्कूल्स, कॉलेजेस, यूनिवर्सिटीज़ और भी सारे इंस्टीट्यूट्स हैं जो यहाँ पे बहुत ज़्यादा रिक्वायर्ड हैं। और मैं ये कहना चाहूँगा अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट बहुत बड़ा एक इशू है, जिस बेस पे जो मैनिफेस्टो बताए गए हैं उन्हीं मैनिफेस्टोज के बेसिस पे जो है
अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट एंड ऑल्सो द डेवलपमेंट इज द इश्यूज। सर, आपसे जानना चाहूँगा क्या इश्यूज हैं युवाओं?
इंग्लिश?
यस प्लीज।
Okay. Well, after the UT formation, it is the first legislative assembly elections. For this time, we are voting against hate. We are voting against peace, prosperity, and most important for communal harmony, which is the need of the hour. So that's why we are voting here for the after general assembly.
Peace and harmony post what in the last developments that have taken place. We'll try to speak to some more people, the youth who have come. इशू जो है आप लोग वोट करने आए हैं, पार्टी नहीं, इश्यूज क्या है?
सर, इश्यूज यहाँ बहुत सारे, बेरोजगारी है, काम कोई नहीं हो रहा है, जिसमें अस्पताल की प्रॉब्लम है, रोड की प्रॉब्लम है, राशन की प्रॉब्लम है, मिट्टी का तेल बंद हुआ है, यहाँ हर चीज़
बेसिक इश्यूज को लेकर वोट कर रहे हैं।
अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट बहुत ज़्यादा है,
अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट और अपनी जो डेवलपमेंट है प्लस हेल्थ के लिए पानी की समस्या है जो मेन प्रॉब्लम है।
मेन इश्यूज ये हैं। कुछ और लोगों से बात करते हैं, युवा किस चीज़ को लेकर वोट कर रहे हैं, किन इश्यूज को लेकर?
सर, सबसे पहले तो यहाँ पे क्या कहते हैं, हम ऐसी एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन चाहते हैं जो हमें ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा जॉब्स दे और ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा जो यूथ के इश्यूज़ हैं उनको जो क्या कहते हैं उनको संबोधित करें ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा, तो उसी चीज़ पे युवा वोट दे रहे हैं।
इस पे सर सीनियर सिटीजन्स किन इश्यूज को लेकर वोट कर रहे हैं?
हमें ऐसे कोई इशू नहीं है, हमें गवर्नमेंट चाहिए, मतलब अपनी गवर्नमेंट चाहिए जो सही नुमाइंदा कर सके और मतलब है कि सही मतलब डेवलपमेंट हो जाए मतलब किसी कंट्री का। और मैं पहली दफ़ा ये देख रहा हूँ कि पहले भी वोटिंग होती थी लेकिन इतना वो आज़ादी नहीं होती थी जितना आजकल आज़ादी से वोट डाल रहे।
So the freedom that the people have got to cast their vote, they are saying that this is also the change they are looking at. Those who have passed the 5 decades of their life, they are also saying that this is happening for the first time, that the people are turning out like this in large numbers to cast their votes. In the past also we have seen that in the Kishtwar the people have turned out in the large number, 65%. But this time the huge crowd that you see that is lined up here to cast their vote, this sends a altogether different message, that the people want to send a message. If they want a development, they know that it can only be done when they will use their vote. If they want to send someone who can secure them, who can guarantee them security, it is only their vote that will help them, and that is why the people have turned out in the large numbers today morning. We'll try to speak to some more young voters also. Sir, आपसे जानना चाहूँगा issues क्या रहेंगे young voters के?
Main issues will be development, unemployment, and the new reservation policy, जिसकी वजह से upon merit are totally reduced to 30%. This is the main issue.
So also the reservation policy that has come after granting the ST status to the Pahari community, and also the open merit that has come down, that is something a really serious concern for the youth, those who are job aspirants, and these are the issues. The locals, the people here, they are focusing entirely on the core issues that actually have the impact on the day-to-day life. If we speak of this constituency is the Kishtwar constituency, where the BJP has given the mandate to Shagun Parihar, the daughter of the BJP leader Ajit Parihar, who was killed by the terrorists in 2018. And when it comes to the National Conference has given the mandate to its former MOS home, Sajjad Kichlu, who is the NC stalwart. This seat was the bastion of the NC since till 2014, and in 2014 it was won by the Bharatiya Janata Party, Sunil Sharma, a close confidant of Amit Shah, and also the BJP General Secretary. While if you speak of the rest of the 7 seats, there is a direct contest. The BJP is holding a fort on the one side for the contest. On the other side, it is the NC Congress alliance. But in the Doda seat, it is altogether a different ball game, and also in the Indrawal, because independents in the Indrawal constituency, the two independents, that is GM Saruri, the former Congress minister and three-time MLA who was with Ghulam Nabi Azad when he defected from the Congress party, but now is contesting as independent, and Pyare Lal, who was with the National Conference but went out of the party, reason being he was not given the ticket, and the NC gave the support to the Congress candidate Zafrullah from Indrawal. While the other seat is the Doda seat, where the Abdul Majid Wani of the Ghulam Nabi Azad's DPAP is in fray, and also the Mehraj from the Aam Aadmi Party. He has also done some of the big rallies in the region. That is what the Aam Aadmi Party is now relying upon, that they can open their also their count in Jammu and Kashmir Assembly polls. Shiva, yes.
Thank you, Gursimran, for those inputs coming in from Kishtwar. Now I'd like to bring in my colleague Zeenat, who's joining us live from Pulwama. Zeenat, over to you. I'd like to understand what is the atmosphere like since we are getting into the phase 1 of the J&K Assembly elections. What can you tell us?
See, as far as the atmosphere is concerned, it is quite energetic. We see in the early morning, the voters are making beeline, because ultimately it is the harvest season where the people have to go back to the fields. But before moving to the fields, taking the path of their field for the harvesting purpose to make some livelihood, we see the voters prefer to come to the polling booths to cast their vote. And that is the beauty of democracy on ground. From old age people to the youngsters, or to the first time voters, even the mothers have got their kids along who are here to cast their vote. So that tells you that how important the vote at present is, because it's the vote that is going to script history to bring peace, prosperity, women empowerment, or to bring justice. Or the parties say this will be traditional parties say that this will be a vote against what was taken from the Jammu and Kashmir on August 5, 2019. Well, the time will decide whether this was a vote against the decision or it is in favor of those political parties who have been singing this kind of tone during all their campaigning and in all these years. When we see the South Kashmir has not seen this kind of atmosphere that has come up in the Lok Sabha elections and now in the state assembly election. What used to happen earlier was people, due to the fear of gun, due to the fear of terrorism on ground, they would come out hiding their face and they would cast their ballot, they would cast their vote and then go back to their house. They would not reveal their identity. But yes, this credit goes to the Modi government for changing the entire scenario on ground, where people are openly coming out, they're waiting for their turn, they are showing their ID cards, so there is no fear to come out and to cast their vote, because earlier it was more like a taboo on ground whenever a people would come out or they would make their way towards the polling station. That definitely has changed on ground because people have embraced democracy in the real sense. Then you see the security scenario. When we talk about, if we compare the previous elections and the present elections of 2014 and now the elections of 2024, number of instances, if we go through the chronology, we have seen the untoward incidents, law and order situation erupted at many places. The voters would get injured because of the terror related incidents. But be it the Lok Sabha elections of the current year or now the assembly polls, we have not seen or reported any untoward incident. That is again a change in the parameters of the security scenario. Then again, this time the voters, the youngster voter is playing a very important role, that whether it will vote for the narrative that is being played, whether like peace, development, Naya Kashmir, the tourism, the startup programs, the entrepreneurship, or it will go back and vote for the political parties, the traditional ones who have been talking about the restoration of the bigger autonomy, restoration of now the Article 370, or now we talk about the statehood. That needs to be seen. then you see, as far as this election campaign was going on for the last 3 weeks, we have been seeing that the campaigning continued till late hours. We have witnessed also the Mashal March, the Torch March that was going on in South Kashmir, which never was even heard, or could not even given a thought that such kind of campaigning can ever take place. We have been seeing the political parties hitting each other. Well, that is the part of the politics, because in politics we say there are no permanent friends or no permanent enemies. At the end of the day, every political party or the politicians, they are almost sharing the platter when it comes to for their interest. But how the voting percentage will come out, how the people will vote, that only we can say the percentage will come in the evening. But as far as the whether the locals, the Kashmiris or the people of Jammu and Kashmir, the UT citizens have voted for Naya Kashmir, or they preferred being with those political parties who have been ruling here for many decades, that time will tell. Or we are seeing this time in Jammu and Kashmir, the another factor that is playing another game that has really turned the tables on ground, that is Jamaat-e-Islami factor. Jamaat that used to boycott the elections because of the ideology. They would go for support separatism. They would call for boycott of elections. They aligned with All Party Hurriyat Conference, which was then led by late Saeed Ali Gilani, and they would push for the Kashmir resolution by UN intervention. That have definitely changed. Their narrative has changed the ground, and how they will ask for the vote, whether the votes will come in their favor, the campaigning that they have done in the South Kashmir, in the Kulgam belt, will that help the Jamaat-e-Islami to turn the tables? Because before 90s, the Jamaat-e-Islami would contest the elections, but 1987 elections, that was rigged, changed the complete scenario on the ground, and then Jamaat would not openly participate, though Jamaat would support the PDP internally under the cover, and this time the Jamaat itself is contesting. So whatever the vote would come to PDP, that will get dent this time, because that voting percentage can go back to the independent candidates that the Jamaat has put in fray. Then in Kulgam we see a factor where CPIM leader Mohammad Yusuf Taregami who
पैसों को बांटने की कोशिश करते हैं. मैं यही कहूंगी यहाँ के लोगों से कि इन लोगों ने हमेशा समाज को जो है वो खराब करने की कोशिश की है, यहाँ के माहौल को खराब करने की कोशिश की है, और ये जो पैसा लोगों में बांट रहे हैं, ये यहाँ की आम जनता का जो है वो खून चूस के इन्होंने रखा हुआ है अपने पास, और उसी को ये पानी की तरह बहा रहे हैं. मैं यहाँ के आम जनता को यही कहूंगी कि जिस तरह उन्होंने अपने ज़मीर को हमेशा जिंदा रखा है, वो आज भी यहाँ पे जो है वो अपने ज़मीर को जीवित रख के भारतीय जनता पार्टी की जो है वो सोच, सबका साथ, सबका विश्वास, सबका विकास, उसी के साथ हम सब लोग आगे बढ़ेंगे. जी धन्यवाद.
With democracy being wholeheartedly embraced in the Jammu and Kashmir region with the assembly elections which are underway, I'd like to bring in Arawat, my colleague who's joining us live from Pampore. Arawat, could you help us understand, now that you're in Pampore, what is the atmosphere like? Have people started streaming in to cast their ballots already? It's early in the morning. What's the status looking like as of now?
Yes, exactly. We are here in the South Kashmir's Pampora area, and you can see here in the visuals, Maviji is showing the visuals. People are coming out from their homes to cast their vote for the better candidate. As we have seen, all the security arrangements and other important things have been made on place. And we have seen some while ago that we have seen that the Member Parliament Hasnan Masoodi has just cast their vote and he left from this place. And you can see here in the visuals, people are coming out from their homes to cast their votes. Also, we have seen from the various locations that the people in the large number are coming out from their homes to cast their vote for the betterment of the society. In fact, my Vijay can show you, if you'll go through the
2018 में असेंबली, और तब से वो भंग हो गई. आज तक असेंबली नहीं, कहीं और किसी खिते में ऐसा हुआ नहीं है. और इसके अलावा अभी सुप्रीम कोर्ट की मुदाखलत से ऐसा इलेक्शन का प्रोसेस शुरू हुआ, लेकिन इसके साथ ही सरकार ने वादा किया था स्टेट हुड रेस्टोर कर लेंगे. वो जो हमारी मांग रही है कि जो छीना गया वो तो दे दो, हम और कुछ नहीं मांगते. अमन मांगते हैं, यकजहती मांगते हैं, भाईचारा मांगते हैं, लेकिन इसके साथ डिग्निफाइड लाइफ चाहते हैं हमारे आवाम, जम्मू के, कश्मीर के, लद्दाख के. और उस डिग्निटी में ये है कि जो हमारा कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनली गारंटीड राइट्स हैं, उनको आपने लिया हमें पूछे बिना, उनको रेस्टोर करने की मांग ही बुनियादी मांग है हमारी जहाँ तक मंशूर का ताल्लुक़ है। और फिर इसके अलावा जैसा कि अभी आपको मालूम होगा रिसेंटली फिर एक और अमेंडमेंट लाई गई रीऑर्गेनाइजेशन एक्ट में, जिसमें फर्दर डिसएम्पावर किया गया लेजिस्लेचर को भी, कैबिनेट को भी, यानी जो एक इलेक्शन का राइट है कायदे के मुताबिक उसको भी कमज़ोर किया गया। वो इसलिए कि ज़्यादा इख्तियारात दिए गए LG को, जो इलेक्टेड रिप्रेजेंटेटिव है, जो जिसका मतलब नुमाइंदगी का हक नहीं है लोगों की करने का। तो इसके साथ ही जहाँ तक रोज़गार का सवाल है, यहाँ कोई इंडस्ट्री नहीं, एक इंडस्ट्री है, वो है किसान काश करते हैं, उनको भी अपनी फसल की वाजिब कीमत मिलती नहीं है। सेब का हाल देख लीजिए, बरामद दरामद ये सिलसिला बड़े पैमाने पर और मार्केट तंग हो रहा है। और इसके अलावा जहाँ तक पढ़े लिखे नौजवानों का ताल्लुक़ है, अगर आप अभी जाएंगे तहकीकात कर लेंगे, कंप्यूटर साइंस में जिन्होंने ग्रेजुएशन की है, पढ़ाई की है या MSc किया है, पोस्ट ग्रेजुएशन, वो बेचारे दरबदर हैं, ठोकरें खा रहे हैं और कहीं अब ऑटो चला रहे हैं कंप्यूटर साइंस में पढ़ाई के बाद। ये एक बड़ा मसला है हमारे लिए, हमारे नौजवान के लिए। जम्मू में भी ये मसला है, कश्मीर में मसला है, लद्दाख में भी ये मसला है। और इस बारे में उन्होंने बहुत कुछ कहा, आज तक ये हुआ अब ये होगा, और एक उम्मीद उन्होंने पैदा की जैसे कि सब कुछ नया होगा। सब कुछ नया हुआ, वो हमारे हुकूक को कम किया गया। वो सबसे नया ये हुआ कि लोगों को खामोश कराने में हर तदबीर को आजमाया गया, लेकिन लोगों को बाइख्तियार बनाना या लोगों के जो रोज़मर्रा ज़िंदगी में बेहतरी लाने का जो उनका दावा है, ज़मीनी हक़ाइक़ बता रहे हैं कि वो सही नहीं है।
तो जैसे फारूक साहब कह रहे हैं या बाकी लीडर कह रहे हैं कि पाकिस्तान से बातचीत होनी चाहिए।
नहीं, लाजिमन मैं कहता हूँ वो एक हिस्सा है, वो क्यों हमारा हमसाया है और इससे पहले भी बातचीत हुई है। इससे पहले भी मैं याद दिलाना चाहूँगा आपको कि प्राइम मिनिस्टर हमारे वो वेडिंग सेरेमनी में गए थे पाकिस्तान, तो एक जो उनका दोस्त रहा है, शायद वो आज उनकी ही पार्टी हुकूमत कर रही है। तो इसलिए क्या ये जो सिलसिला है पाकिस्तान को हम इल्ज़ाम दें, अगर उनके कई काम अच्छे नहीं हैं तो बातचीत कर लो आपस में, इसमें फ़ायदा है दोनों ममालिक का। और सबसे बढ़कर ज़्यादा फ़ायदा है जम्मू कश्मीर का, क्योंकि हम सरहद पर हैं और सैंडविच हो रहे हैं, उधर से गोली इधर से गोली। हमारे किसान जो बॉर्डर के नज़दीक हैं, पूछ लीजिए, ये जो हमारा कठुआ है, सांबा है और जगहें हैं, काफ़ी सफ़र कर रहे हैं।
We are here in the South Kashmir and the voting has begun, and we have seen that the festival of democracy has started also, and we can see here in the visuals these are the people who have cast their votes, and we will get to all the details. Keep watching the Republic TV.
Today, Congress is expected to release its manifesto for the Haryana Assembly polls, with a key focus on women and youth. Reports suggest that the party might offer promises like cheaper domestic gas cylinders, financial support of 3,000 rupees per month for women, and an old age pension of rupees 6,000 per month for senior citizens. President Draupadi Murmu will be visiting 3 states, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh and Jharkhand, from starting today till the 20th. Today, she will attend the convocation of the Malviya National Institute of Technology in Jaipur. The following day, she will address the Safai Mitra Sammelan and lay the foundation stone for the Indore-Ujjain 6-lane road project in Madhya Pradesh. Finally, on September 20th, President Murmu will attend the centenary celebration of the ICAR National Institute of Secondary Agriculture in Ranchi, Jharkhand. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be on a 3-day official visit to the United States from September 21st to the 24th to attend the annual Quad Summit and address the Summit of the Future at the UN General Assembly. The fourth Quad Leaders Summit, which will be held in Wilmington, Delaware, is being hosted by US President Joe Biden. India will host the next Quad Summit in 2025. Indian Army unveiled the HIM Drone-a-thon 2 to revolutionize high-altitude operations through the use of drones. This pioneering initiative aims to tap into the power of cutting-edge indigenous technology, focusing on enhancing operational efficiency and tactical superiority in some of the most challenging terrains on the planet through the use of drones within the ambit of the Atmanirbhar Bharat. At a time when the Malayalam cinema industry is reeling from the shocking revelations in the Justice K. Hema committee report, a group of film personalities are set to launch a new film body aimed at revitalizing the sector and promoting a fair and just workplace.
And while the polling has begun in J&K, this is the first phase of elections in the valley. The countdown has even begun for the polls in Haryana. The state goes to polls on 5th of October. In fact, the BJP is all set to release its election manifesto today. It was in 2019 that the BJP along with the JJP had formed a coalition government in the state with 40 seats that were won by the BJP, after which a coalition government was formed. So while the countdown has begun for the Haryana polls, both the BJP and the Congress are set to unveil their manifestos today itself. So stakes are high for the 90 seats in the state. Let's go across to Lalit. He's joining us live. Lalit, of course, elections in Haryana will take place on 5th of October. The manifesto, both by the BJP and the Congress, will be released today. What are you learning from your sources? What will be the focus areas for the BJP in this election in Haryana?
If we talk about the stakes for BJP, in Haryana are quite high, as they are trying to convince the voters that for the third time they can form the government in Haryana. So today's manifesto, which BJP called it as a Sankalp Patra, would be very important. And the national president of BJP, Mr. Jagat Prakash Nadda, would be unveiling this Sankalp Patra. So it would be done in the Haryana's political capital in Rohtak at 11 a.m. Along with JP Nadda, it would be he would be assisted with the CM of Haryana, Mr. Naib Singh Saini. He would be assisted by Mr. Om Prakash Dhankar, who is the manifesto head, while the BJP Haryana president, Mr. Badoli. But if you talk about the focus point of this whole manifesto, could be on the agriculture side, as the farmers are quite upset with the BJP, the way they have been protesting by the past 5 years. So BJP's manifesto can somehow be somewhere between the agriculture, how the farmers can be farmers friendly. Other than that, there could be something for the youth also, as unemployment is a big issue in Haryana. So these two factors are quite important on which the Haryana Sankalp Patra could be focused on. Other than that, if we talk about Congress would also be releasing its guarantee card, and it would be released in the Delhi by the Congress National President, Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge. So it would be a very important day for Haryana politics, as both the parties would be releasing its Sankalp and guarantee card. So we would be tracking each and every detail. Back to the studio.
All right, Lalit, thank you for the moment. So elections in Haryana on the 5th of October, and the vote counting, of course, on the 8th. For now, we switch our focus to other stories that we're tracking. This is the Arjikar case that has been our top focus. Note that the CBI custody of both Sandeep Ghosh as well as the Tala police station SHO Abhijit Mondal have been extended by 3 more days.
On the other side, in fact, in a parallel development, it's another police commissioner that has been appointed after Vinny Goyal's resignation. It's Manoj Verma, who's taken charge as police commissioner of Kolkata.
The probe in the RJ rape and horror case continues to simmer. A Kolkata court on Tuesday extended the CBI custody of former RJ principal Sandeep Ghosh and Tala Police SHO Abhijit Mondal for 3 days. The custody was extended based on CBI's claim that both accused were not cooperating in the probe. Meanwhile, in a big development, Manoj Kumar Verma took charges as Kolkata's new police commissioner on Tuesday. Abaya's parents, on the other hand, continue to raise their voice against Sandeep Ghosh's involvement in the case.
না না এটা জয়ের কি আছে এটা জয়ের এটা বিচার পাবে
মানে
ধরা যাবে এবং বিচার পাবে
এবং বিচার হবে সেদিনই জয় হবে। ওনারা যদি 2021 সালে যখন সন্দীপ ঘোষের বিরুদ্ধে তো অনেক অভিযোগ ছিল তখন যদি মুখ্যমন্ত্রী এই পদক্ষেপটা নিতেন আজকে আমার কলকাতা হতো না, আমার মেয়েটা হারিয়ে যেত না।
They're also raising questions on tampering of evidence and hospital's bid to cover up the entire incident that unfolded on August 9.
এই ব্যাপারে আমি একটাই কথা বলবো, যারা যারা এই আমার মেয়ের হত্যার সম্বন্ধে জড়িত আছে তারা উপযুক্ত পরোক্ষভাবে যারা জড়িত আছে তারা শাস্তি পাবে।
যারা প্রমাণ লোপাটের জন্য যারা জড়িত সবাই যেন তদন্তের আওতায় আসে এবং সবাইকে যেন শাস্তি পায়।
সে তো দেখতেই পাচ্ছেন আপনারা, কারা আস্তে আস্তে বেরোবে ক্রমশ প্রকাশ। এগুলো তাড়াতাড়ি জানার চেষ্টা করলে সেটা এখন এটা কি করে জানবো, এটা সিবিআই তদন্ত করে দেখছে, অবশ্যই তার সঠিক রাস্তা দেখছে।
Mamta's minister, on the other hand, has hailed Chief Minister's move for removing the Kolkata Police Commissioner Vinny Goyal and slammed BJP for politicizing the entire RJ case.
कौन मुख्यमंत्री जाता है आंदोलन में हिंदुस्तान में, बताइए कौन सीएम है? कोई जाता है? पुलिस से पिटवाता है। सुप्रीम कोर्ट के बड़े बेंच, सबसे बड़ा बेंच तो नहीं है, 3 जजों का बेंच है, डिवीजन बेंच, जिसमें चीफ जस्टिस है। वो हाथ जोड़ रहे हैं कि बाबा काम में जाओ, लोगों को नुकसान मत पहुंचाओ। सीएम ममता बनर्जी हैं, रहेंगे।
With Sandeep Ghosh behind bars and Kolkata getting new police commissioner, the bigger question remains how long till the victim gets justice.
All right, let's now switch focus to the big international story that came in last night. These are pager blasts which were carried out in Lebanon, in which 9 people have lost their lives and more than 2,700 people have been injured. It's said that Israeli forces could be behind the pager blasts which have rocked Lebanon that targeted the Hezbollah camp. 9 people have died while more than 2,700 people have been injured. In fact, a statement that's now coming from the US distancing itself, saying that it had no prior information about these pager blasts that rocked Lebanon, targeting the Hezbollah camp, the visuals of which is on your screens. At least 8 people have been killed and more than 2,500 people have been injured in these pager blasts. So explosives that were planted in pagers that targeted the Hezbollah leaders in Lebanon in wake of the ongoing tensions between the Hezbollah and the Israeli forces. US, meanwhile, having distanced itself, says that it has absolutely no involvement in these pager blasts and that it had no prior information as well. Listen in to that statement coming in from the US.
Again, I don't have any details to provide on the reports of the pager blast. I can tell you, to my knowledge, there's no U.S. involvement in this at all. Again, it's something that we're monitoring. Again, I don't have any details to provide on the reports of the pager blast. I can tell you, to my knowledge, there's no U.S. involvement in this at all. Again, it's something that we're monitoring.
All right, so there you heard the Pentagon saying that it has absolutely nothing to do with these pager blasts. In fact, this comes in wake of months-long tensions between Hezbollah and the Israeli forces, both targeting each other from across the border. So that statement that came in from the Pentagon saying that it has absolutely no knowledge, and that being said, tensions have escalated, and the Hezbollah camp says that it will be retaliating and targeting the Israeli forces for the same. So these were hundreds of pages that were apparently being used by the Hezbollah leaders that exploded. In fact, it said that Israeli forces could very well behind these pager blasts that rocked Lebanon, targeting the Hezbollah camp. 9 people have lost their lives and more than 2,700 people have been injured. Hezbollah camp has vowed retaliation. Now take a look at this report, which has the details of these blasts.
Hundreds of handheld pagers exploded simultaneously across Lebanon and in parts of Syria on Tuesday. At least 8 people have been killed and over 2,700 have been injured, including members of Hezbollah.
عدد الجرحى حوالي 2750 جريح، عدد الشهداء 8 شهداء، عدد العمليات أو الحالات الحرجة هو فوق 200 حالة حرجة أو عمليات، صار لهلا متقدم فوق 150 وحدة دم، والمستشفيات اللي شاركت باستقبال الجرحى لهلا تقريبا بيوصلوا لحوالي 100 مستشفى.
The explosion comes at a time when the situation is tense between Israel and Lebanon. Lebanese officials pointed fingers at Israel, while the Israeli military has declined to comment. Notably, Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah previously warned the members not to carry cell phones, saying that they could be used by Israel to track their movements and to carry out targeted strikes.
من عصر اليوم بدأت أعداد كبيرة من الجرحى بالتوافد على المستشفيات، وكانت هيدي الجرحى مصابة بشكل أساسي بانفجار بأجهزة اتصال بيجر كانت حاملتها. الأعداد اللي وصلت على الطوارئ كانت أعداد كتير كبيرة، وكان واضح انه هي بمختلف المناطق، لانه نحن شفنا انه في جرحى وصلوا على مستشفيات الضاحيه وبيروت، وكذلك كان عندنا جرحى بمنطقه الجنوب خاصه بسور وكذلك.
Lebanon's health ministry has called on all hospitals to be on high alert to take in emergency patients. The health ministry has also asked the health workers to avoid using wireless devices. According to the Lebanese Health Ministry, around 100 hospitals have so far received injured people in the wave of exploding pagers. Lebanese terror group Hezbollah and Israeli Defense Forces have been clashing for more than 11 months. Against the backdrop of war between Israel and Palestinian terror group Hamas in the Gaza Strip. The clashes have killed hundreds in Lebanon and dozens in Israel and displaced tens of thousands on both sides of the border.
Let's now switch focus to more international news that we are tracking. This one coming in from Central Europe, where massive flooding in Czech Republic has claimed lives of at least 16 people. Several of other countries, including Romania, has also been affected as a result of these floods. Take a look at this report.
Heavy rains have pounded the cities of Czech Republic. Officials say that the dam started reducing the water levels.
Aktuální situace je stabilní, začíná nám hladina klesat, protože klesá i vypouštění Střímovské přehrady, přestalo pršet, takže ty přítoky, to znamená Stropnice, potoky, snižují své stavy, takže sem tolik nenatéká. Byť teda Římov pouští poměrně dost stále, ale už nám to tolik nepůsobí velké škody.
Some parts of Czech Republic are submerged in knee-deep flooded waters. The floods have caused devastation across the cities. Locals explain the losses incurred due to the floods.
Škody budou velké. Máme dole holobit. Plovoucí podlahy jsou zvednuté, všechno, takže od jak nějací novomanželé se budeme asi zabydlovat, no. A nebude to asi moc úsměvné, než pojišťovny něco zaplatí. Ale špatně se o tom mluví.
A localite explains how the floods damaged her house.
Stalo se to, co se nám už stalo minimálně 2krát nebo 3krát, že přišla voda, přišla přes val A jak celý Bohumín zalila, tak zalila zase nás. No. Máme to doma v podstatě v celém prvním patře, takže bydlíme asi 7 lidí a 2 psy nahoře už 3 dny bez vody, bez elektřiny a neptejte se, jak chodíme na záchod.
And people have been facing the power cuts and limited sanitary facilities. Authorities continue to assist in the town near the Polish border. The government has deployed 2,000 troops to help with the cleanup efforts. As of Monday, 3 people have lost their lives, 19 people have been reported dead due to the floods. Heavy flooding has affected a broad swathe of Central Europe.
And a quick look at other international stories that we're tracking. FBI agents were seen at the house of Ryan Ruth in Hawaii. According to FBI spokesman, they were conducting a court-authorized law enforcement activity. However, details of this activity remain sealed under court order and no further information has been released. Donald Trump is back on campaign trail just days after a second apparent assassination attempt. In his first public appearance during a town hall in Michigan, Trump said that being a president is a dangerous business. Trump was a target of potential assassination attempt over the weekend, just 9 weeks after another threat on his life in Pennsylvania.
Well, it's been a great experience. It's a dangerous business, however, being president. It's a little bit dangerous. It's, they think race car driving is dangerous. No. They think bull riding, that's pretty scary, right? No. This is a dangerous business, so we have to keep it safe.
At a rally in North Carolina, Democratic vice presidential candidate Tim criticized Republican candidate J.D. Vance's recent remarks about immigrants. Vance said that Vance admitted to spreading fear and lies about immigrants in order to gain political support. He emphasized that a free speech press is essential to democracy and applauded the media for holding Vance accountable for his statements.
This last weekend, Donald Trump's running mate, Senator Vance, did a really remarkable thing. He got called out by a fair and free press that are a part of our democracy and fundamental to the freedoms of this country. He got called out by that press about telling vicious, hurtful lies about immigrants. But he did something. He told the truth. They asked him if maybe it was an accident or he didn't mean it. No, he said, I admit it. I'm willing to create stories to spread fear to drum up support for us.
Venezuela's government has announced the arrest of 4th US citizen in connection with alleged plot to assassinate Nicolas Maduro. According to Interior Minister, the plot involves the CIA, Spain's intel agency, organized crime groups, sex workers and opposition members. The government claims this conspiracy was part of a broader effort to destabilize Venezuela. Authorities in Peru and Colombia have been battling massive forest fires that have spread across large areas. Fueled by high temperatures and low rainfall, fires have reached the Amazon as well. And Air Force helicopters are continuously dropping water and serving the region. Meanwhile, Colombia has faced 249 fires with 10 still active. Colombian authorities are considering changing their firefighting strategy due to ongoing challenges in controlling the blazes. All right, back home in news that is coming in from the national capital, the Delhi police has busted a casino that was running in Rajendra Nagar area where they've arrested 8 people and more than 51 lakh cash has also been recovered from those arrested. Here's a full report.
In a big win to the Delhi police, the Central District team of Delhi police has bust a casino racket being run in a posh locality in Delhi. The incident took place in New Rajendra Nagar area where an illegal casino was being run at that point in time. The Delhi police sleuths reached over there and they uncovered that casino running in the garb over there at that point in time. So what happened, the Delhi police successfully have arrested 8 people in connection with the case. Apart from that, if you see, 15 lakh cash have been recovered in this regard. And apart from cash, the Delhi police team has also recovered 7 mobile phones, and apart from that, over 2,000 casino coins were recovered from there. And Delhi police have also recovered 175 decks of playing cards. While we have been speaking to senior officials in the Delhi police department, DCP of the Central District, Mr. Harshvardhan, has confirmed this, and he has said that the further investigation is still on this in this regard.